I just noticed that the wide angle camera on the Google Pixel 7a is not that great under just regular room lighting. It wasn't until I finished editing my last 2 weeks review that I went back and watched the video again, and it was more grainy than my previous videos. Over the last 2 weeks, I have mostly just been using the main camera like I'm doing right now to record the Google Pixel 7a vlog early in the morning. But in my 2 weeks review, I decided to switch over to the wide angle camera. And by default, it is set to 30 frames per second. And as I went back and watched the video later, it looks much more grainier. If you are indoors and do not have maximum lighting, you're better off using the main camera compared to the wide angle camera. Now I'm going to switch on 60 frames per second and see if there's a difference while using the wide angle. You guys let me know, because when I'm editing, it's on a smaller screen and it is not always noticeable until I actually finish it. That's when I go back and watch the whole thing. Here is what it looks like at full HD, 60 frames per second. I'm going to leave it in this format for the rest of the video, and occasionally I'm going to be zooming in and out just to see how it's going to look. And the quality is still terrible. Tomorrow I will switch to 4K and see if it is less grainy. So just something I noticed there. Just in general, even when recording videos at night, the main camera always tend to be the best one. Once you start using the wide angle camera, it does have trouble with all the lighting and graininess. If you guys found out to be helpful, and I'm going to walk you through a day in the life of the Google Pixel 7a. This is day 15. So far, I've been pretty impressed with this phone. Coming from the Galaxy S23, doesn't really miss a beat in terms of performances, and everything is smooth, fast, efficient. I can get through the day just fine, and even though I really enjoy using the Galaxy S23, I don't find myself missing it that much compared to when I was using the A54. It makes me want to use the Galaxy S23 even more, due to the fact it's much slower. When you swipe it from side to side, every little navigation, there's at least a half second to full second delay between switching apps. So in terms of mid-range phones, Google is giving the best chip for the Pixel 7a. Compared to Samsung, they are not using the best chip in the A series. So I would avoid the A series if you're looking for a fast performing phone in this price range. So in the morning, I woke up. First thing I did was pull down my notification shades to see how long the phone's gonna last. So projection is until 3:30. Then I got ready for work, just shot a quick video when I saw my typical nice view when walking to work. And while I'm recording, I snapped a photo as well. In general, if you're recording and taking a photo at the same time, the photo is not going to be as good as if you're just standing still using the main camera and taking a picture, because there's a lot of factors involved. On one end, you're doing the video. On the other end, I'm actually walking and snapping a picture. But in general, it still provided a pretty good photo despite all of the circumstances. It doesn't look blurry or anything like that. Then I made my way over to the commuter rail, sent a Snapchat over to my friends. This is my first time taking a commuter rail, and it's definitely bringing me back Italy vibes when I was on vacation last year, just hopping on different high-speed train tracks. Pretty cool. But heading into work today, I usually work from home, but occasionally duty calls, so you had to come in. And during the commute, best part is I can just sit there and read articles on my phone compared to sitting in traffic for over an hour. The commute only takes 20 to 25 minutes, and I can just sit there and relax. But I came across an article about how people are still having issues with the Google Pixel 7 fingerprint sensor. And I think in general, if you keep your hand dry and clean, it should be in good shape. But I know some people have more natural oil than others, so you do need a little bit of oil in there to make the fingerprint sensor work, if I'm reading this correctly. And apparently one person found out that they can just swipe the edge of their nose and use the oil there to activate the Google Pixel 7a sensor, since they're having trouble pretty often. I personally think this is a terrible idea. If you are acne prone in general, you don't want to always be touching your face. COVID is still around, and your phone is probably the dirtiest thing that you keep around you all day long. You're touching everything else. You touch your phone, you go to the bathroom, touch doorknobs. Then you go and touch your face and you touch your phone, repeat that cycle again. I try to sanitize my phone every now and then, but just in general, cell phones are pretty dirty. And you kind of have to ask yourself, when was the last time you wipe or sanitize your phone? So I would not recommend doing that. I wouldn't even try it. The fingerprint sensor is not the best or fastest in the world, but for the most part, it does the job. And for me personally, I just rely on Face Unlock. Occasionally, I do need to use a fingerprint sensor, but Face Unlock works for the most part, except right here, since I'm on the train, it is dirty on the train, I'm actually wearing a mask, and Google does tell me that it recognizes that I'm wearing a mask, and it gives me a notification indicating that as well. So I just use the fingerprint, but no big deal. I know it's not the fastest, most accurate or anything like that, but I still think overall it is a solid B of a fingerprint sensor. But I think the main issue that a lot of manufacturers need to work on is just making the sensor bigger. I know Google has a pretty good size, but occasionally I would still miss it depending on how I angle my finger. Samsung have a really fast ultrasonic fingerprint sensor on the Galaxy S23, but the coverage area is so small that I would often need to press it multiple times just to hit it correctly. But if I hit it correctly on the S23, it does unlock much faster than the Pixel 7a, but just the time that I spend having to touch it multiple times slows it down a little bit, so it's kind of a moot point. And as I'm walking my way into Boston, saw a nice mural, took a picture of that on the Google Pixel 7a. Solid picture here. Saw another random toad looking statue, took a quick pic as well. Just walking, whip up my phone, snap a pic, continue on my way to work. Everything works like it should. And at work, I am scavenging around the fridge to find snacks, see what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat. I've personally been playing around with this app called Yuka, Y-U-K-A, and it basically rates certain food for you. It reads the nutritional facts, it gives you a grade. This cheese and cracked, I got a 0 out of 100 score. I don't really see it that often, and it's kind of interesting. You get to see all the additives it has, why it is rated so bad. It is too fat, too salty. I ate it anyways for the one time, but at least I now I know going forward I wouldn't eat it again, since it has all these additives and it's one of the most unhealthiest thing you can eat. Probably better off eating dirt or something. But anywho, so about lunchtime we got some Chipotle catering, pumped for that. Sent a Snapchat to my friends. During my afternoon break, I snap a few views from the window. You get to see and enjoy Boston. In the evening, I went to grab lobsters for dinner. Here's a picture of me fake smiling. Took another Snapchat under low lighting, but it does the job just fine. So this wraps up day 15th. In general, Pixel 7a take great pictures and videos. However, the wide angle camera do struggle a little bit if you are indoor with just regular room lighting. So at least by default, I didn't change anything. The phone was in full HD, 30 frames per second. Now I switch it over to 60. I'll see if that's gonna do anything. If not, tomorrow I'll try 4K. In general, I like to avoid 4K because the file get really big, and since I'm editing videos daily, it takes a really long time. I have a really fast computer, but just larger files. Despite a fast computer, it still takes more time just to edit and process. Google Pixel 7a is still a really solid phone with a great camera. If you're looking for a new mid-range phone around $500, you don't want to spend $1,000 for the latest Galaxy or iPhone. Pixel is about the best you can get in this price range, so no complaints from me here. You don't need all the bells and whistles from the Galaxy S23, like the 1750 nits, the 120Hz refresh rate, fast wireless charging. All those little things are nice to have, but I don't find that I need it on a day-to-day basis. If you're willing to make some of those sacrifices, I think the $500 Google Pixel 7a is a pretty solid phone, and it destroys the A54 in terms of performances and smoothness for a similar price range. Alright, please check out my 2 weeks review on the Google Pixel 7a if you haven't already. Remember to like and subscribe. Appreciate the time as always, and see you guys in the next video.